Okay, now you're moving on into the flow section of the DVD. Look, it's imperative that you understand that these are meant to be used in your matches, in combat. These are things that you want readily available at all times, okay? Which means you need to pay attention to detail. Attention to detail always prevails in this section of material, okay? Every detail will count during your test, too. So you want to make sure that, I'm not saying it's got to be verbatim like on this DVD, because some blue belts will teach you, they'll teach you different variations on how you can do these things based on your size, or your game plan, or your partner's size, or how they fight, or how their body's built. All these factors come into play. What I am saying is there's some fundamental things that you've got to pretty much always do against someone who's not 70 pounds heavier than you to be able to pull these off. Please do those things, okay? I'm going over the details in this DVD. I want you to use them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Single leg guard pass to side control to mount to Americana. Okay, right off the bat, single leg guard pass. You want to have your knee on the mat, controlling your outside knee on the mat, controlling their bottom leg, okay, and their hips. And also, you can't see, but my foot's on the mat behind him too. So he's basically, it's almost like it'd be like this, where his arm is trapped right now. Only these are my legs. The other arm, your forearm, is going to go underneath his leg and around as deep as you can get it to his collar, because you're about to use this to help add pressure to his neck. From here, this hand is going to be ready to hide. You're going to reach back behind his leg, and then you're going to use your weight to shift your weight to his neck. Once you got his weight to his neck, take this hand that's behind his leg and shift it to behind his hips so he can't get away from you. And you're going to sprawl, making yourself heavy. While you're sprawling, making yourself heavy, you're going to tiptoe to a place where you're perpendicular. He's going to make a choice where his legs are going to pass, or he's going to tap because he's being choked. From here, guys, you have a lot of different variations on how you can mount. Different instructors will teach you different things. I'm going to use my favorite style of mounting. You guys, when you're working with your blue belt prep instructor, they can show you theirs. I'm going to go for just a simple side control. You can use this in no gi or gi. Just a basic side control. From here, I'm going to take my knee to his body, shift, remove his arm, and go to a 45-degree angle. I'm going to shift my weight to his upper body and put my shin and slide my shin across his belly. Now, my shin is across his belly and his hips. My foot, the foot that's free, is going to be hooking his hips. So this foot is going to be hooking his hips while my shin is across heavy. Okay? From there, I'm going to drop my knee to the mat and open my hip, sprawling heavy onto him, moving his leg out of the way. Then my foot will flop out to the outside, and it will slide to the mount. Now, as you can see, this arm is already available. With your uke, you guys will figure out naturally, based off of your guard pass, which arm is more available, and with your blue belt, and that's the arm you're going to Americana. Since this one's already here, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that it doesn't come back. Trap, get my grip, create space so I can slide his arm down, and get the tap. If you try to do it here, look at this. Look at this. Oh my goodness, he's so flexible. No, you're doing it wrong, okay? I feel like chill, son. So what you're gonna do is slide it back. And that's how you get the tap. It's so much easier that way. Slide it back, elbow up, drag the wrist on the mat. Single leg guard pass, side control, mount, Americana. Okay, the next flow that we're doing is basic half guard pass to mount to Ezekiel. Now, one of the basic principles of using or passing any type of guard for someone is twisting their body, okay? Making sure that they're not in their strongest position. If I'm like this, facing you with my legs, my upper body facing you, and I'm fighting you, I'm really powerful. But if you turn me sideways, and now I have to fight with my upper body and you're coming from this direction, I'm super weak. My body's thrown off. I'm not structurally built to be strong that way. We're going to do the same thing to our opponent, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our shoulder, we're going to take our arm first and reach under their head. We're going to use our shoulder to turn their head away from us. Because now, if he wants to be strong, he's got to go that way, because his head is facing that way. He can't, go ahead, Mr. Mason, turn that way. Yeah, see, that's super easy. Now turn towards me. It's not really working out too well, because his head's facing this way. So shoulder turns his head away, okay, while you grab his gi at the shoulder or something like that. He's still got his half guard closed. And from here, guys, you're going to crawl your foot up right behind his butt. Okay? You want to get it as close to his butt as possible. Okay, now, using your hand or your elbow, depending on how tall your opponent is, he's way taller than me. So I'm going to use my hand with my elbow tight, and I'm going to push his knee off and drive my knee to the mat simultaneously. Okay? Now, Mr. Mace is all turned this way. Okay? From here, normally during a match, I probably wouldn't Ezekiel. I probably would switch my hands and go for the Ezekiel. Okay? But it just depends. A slicker way to set it up is to wait for them to look in the other direction. But sometimes they don't know. You grab your own gi, okay? Take your hand in between, put it on their chest. Put it on their neck. You put your chest on top of your hand, and now you apply downward pressure to your hand into his neck. You get the choke. Try not to do it like this where your head's sticking up. Try instead to think that you're going to start bringing your head towards the floor, and your chest and head are together. Okay? So, here, grab your gi. Since I'm not wearing one, I grab my arm, punch, chest on top of your hand. You see, my chest is going to be on top of my hand. Okay? And choke. Okay, when your opponent has mounted you, this is a dangerous situation. Okay, you're in a lot of trouble. And usually when they get an established mount like this is a big problem. So, attacking with a single escape, or once with that single escape, probably isn't as good as attacking with multiple escapes simultaneously. Hence why in this series, with this flow, it's going to be Upa hip escape, scissor sweep to mount, and then we're going to back choke him because he's going to roll over and expose his back. Because he's kind of new to jiu-jitsu and he just makes the mistake. Or he's a veteran and he thinks that he can roll faster than I can take his back, which sometimes is the case for people in different places and stuff. Okay, so we're here. Upa first. Get his hands to the mat. Choose an arm. You're going to wrap around that arm. Hug that arm tight to your body. Make sure that you're cutting the blade of your forearm into their arm while their arm is in the middle of your belly button. You're going to trap their foot, making it as hard as it possibly can be for them to pull their arm out. You're going to go for the Upa, but he's going to still fight to get his arm out and his leg free. I went for it. Because I went for it, that made it that he had to fight really hard to get his arm out and to make sure he didn't fall over. And that leaves space, hence the Upa hip escape. So I time it, he pulls out, I block his leg, I hip escape out, and get back to closed guard. From here, scissor sweep to mount. I'm going to go ahead and scissor sweep this way because so you guys can see. Sleeve control. When I do the scissor sweep, a lot of people do it kind of off of their back, so they'll get sleeve control and collar control, and then they'll do it like this. I like the idea of doing it off your elbow just because it gives you more leverage. Okay? So let me show you what it looks like on your side. Here, here, and then if you want to put your foot on the mat to make your adjustment, you can. I personally prefer it if I use my opponent's body to adjust. Here's your scissor sweep position. So you have lapel, you have sleeve. Now from here, you're going to load, and you will sweep them over. Okay? I'm going to do it that way so that we can move on to the next technique, though. So here. Load. Scissor right into mount. Okay. From here, Mr. Mace realizes that he's in trouble. He doesn't know what to do. He rolls over. Immediately sliding to the back choke. Thrust choke to armbar attempt to half Nelson lapel choke or crossbow. I'm going to show you kind of the variations of this, and you can choose how you're going to do at the end when I get to that. So thrust choke, first thing. You're going to grab his collar like almost like you're going to pull something. So you're going to grab one side of the collar like you're going to pull something. The other side you're going to grab like you want to punch him in the throat, because that's what a thrust choke is. You're basically punching their collar across their throat. Okay? So one's pulling down to take the slack out, and the other one's punching into their neck. Okay? Now he's going to defend that by grabbing your hand and dragging your hand across his chest. That's the basic defense for this. Obviously the thrust choke is not a high percentage choke, but we're using it to set up something else. So we punch his neck, he grab, defends. We use that to help attack the armbar. We grab the tricep. We attack quickly. Grab the tricep and turn 90 degrees with his arm still attached. And post the hand. Now you notice, first detail, When I drag Mr. Mace up, I'm dragging him past the 90-degree angle as far as this way. We both went to face that way, but he's past being sideways on his back. And the next thing is my leg slid up to his back so that he couldn't go back and lay down quickly. So now he's in a really dangerous position. Also, when I drug him up, his arm is up on the platform on my leg, so he can't get it down to defend it easily. From here, guys, normally you would go for an arm bar, okay? But Mr. Mace is smarter than the average bear. He's going to defend the arm bar by grabbing his hand. And so we're going to slide our hand down and the other hand underneath and pass his lapel to his neck. Now watch. This is a very slick grip. We slide down, top hand passes the top lapel to the bottom hand. Just like that. Now the top hand is free to dive behind his head and under your own arm, and now you're going to scissor to get the choke. Okay, now, another thing. Let's find this guy. His name's Dominic Brisbane. Really cool guy, awesome guy when I was a white belt. And this guy was so super strong and so tight with his armbar defense here that I couldn't move his arm when I go for the half Nelson lapel. So I had to figure out something else, and that's why I came up with the crossbow. So he's going to hide his arm super tight so I can't get it behind his head. Arm out, grab his gi at the knee. If you grab his leg, that's not as much leverage as if you grab the knee. So grab the gi at the knee. Rotate. Put your shin, the middle of your shin, directly behind his neck. Okay, so the middle of your shin goes directly behind his neck. And then you bring him into your shin, bring his leg back while stretching. And you stretch your hips in for the choke. So it will look like this. And you'll get the tap. Headlock escape to armbar. What happens in this scenario is you go for a basic headlock escape where you flatten him out, and he's pretty athletic, or he's intelligent, or he's just resistant in general, and so he tries to stop you from doing that. So you go the complete opposite way and put him on his side, and then from there I'm going to show you how to get a technical armbar. Again, I'd like to say most people don't do headlocks in good jiu-jitsu. However, this is a great thing for self-defense. I mean, this is This is self-defense 101. Average individual is going to headlock you if they ever try to grab you if they can grab you for a street fight or whatever like that. So this is a great thing to know how to do. Okay. So he puts me in a headlock. My elbows, both elbows tight to me. I grab his wrist, I grab his waist. I'm going to try to put him face down, and he's going to sit out and block. So I am going to pull and push and drive him to the other side, putting him on his side like this. From here, top hand closest to his head, goes under his jawline and moves his head back while stretching my palm to the floor. The other hand is going to grab my own forearm to help apply pressure. Now I take the back leg, put my knee on his hip. I'm adding leverage to this technique. I'm going to use my head and my arms to look up to the corner and stretch his grip away. Pop up, leaving my knee on his hip or ribs, depends on how tall he is. My foot goes around to replace my hand. I take the arm, leaving my legs tight. The arm, foot across the head, get the tap. Okay, the Upa hip escape is a great combination to escape from the mount because it's multi-directional. I mean, you've got an escape that's going this way, and then as soon as they defend and stop that, you're immediately escaping this way. So, you know, it's really hard. It's the equivalent of you punching low and then punching high. Your opponent blocks low, and that leaves their head open, and you hit them high before they have a chance to think about it. Okay? So first we go for the Upa. We get his hands to the mat. Boom! We hug an arm, tight to our belly button. We trap a foot. And now when we go for that Upa, guys, you go hard. You go like it's no tomorrow, and you make sure you're going for the Upa. Your uke, the person that you train to be able to be your partner during this test, should fight to pull their arm out. If they don't have to fight to pull their arm out, it doesn't work. It's no good. You won't have the space with the legs. So we go for the Upa, and then we use the space to hip escape. Watch. Now, with that space, as you can see, look at this. Look at this. There's a lot of space here. There's a lot of space here. With that space, you hip escape. Boom. He gets up quickly, he moves in like he's going to pass, or try to attack your guard, or from standing, grab his ankles, Put your knees together, pinch your toes into their hips, and now project your hips up into them, and they'll just roll over. Boom. Get up, driving your hips forward. He should push up into you, doesn't matter. Use them to pull, walk forward on top. Okay, now you're in the mount. Partner on bottom reaches up for some strange reason during the match. Okay, now for repping purposes, if it's, we're talking about the 100,000, he can do this. We're talking about you doing the test, he can do this, or he can do this, both hands pushing. Okay, both hands pushing is more realistic. I like that more. So push, post, rock your hips, because that makes the arms straight, makes it easier for you to go. And then planche up, sit, and get the tap. Upa hip escape. Back sweep. Mount armbar. All right, double leg to side control to mount to cross collar choke from the mount. I like this series, especially because right now during this section of material we're using the cross collar choke from the mount, and a lot of people are getting it, so it's really good. So pay close attention to this one. Double leg guard pass. First up, double leg guard pass. When you go for a double leg pass, you want to get your grips and pinch your shoulders together and get control of their hips early on. Okay? You do not want them, spread your knees as far as you can. You do not want them starting to do stuff like this. Okay? And the truth is, go relax him now. The truth is if that you get like this, now spread your knees, it's a lot harder for him to spread his knees once you're already pinched together. So make sure you get the pinch early. From here, the one that we do for this, and there's a multitude of ways to do the double leg guard pass, is we're going to go ahead and reach up to his collar, and notice what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. I'm really fighting to control those legs. Make sure those legs don't come apart. Reach up to his collar, get the same grip you do for the single leg guard pass, all the way back, fist to the floor. From here, heavy pressure, slide your other hand to his hips, just like you do on the single leg guard pass, and now get perpendicular and crush. He's going to make a choice to move his legs out of the way. Great. That's your double leg guard pass. Okay? I'm going to do a different mount than what I did for the single leg guard pass, just because this is a different situation. Mr. Mace is still taller than me, so I'm not going to do the giant man mount. So I'm going to take my hand off his neck. Okay? Instead, what I'm going to do is go to just a good hand dive side control. He turns back to me, switch my hips, check his hip, bring his leg towards me, stop, over, and mount. Okay? From here, cross collar choke from the mount. Two ways you can get this grip. One, you can stay low, and usually people start to try to escape here. Right? So he's like working to get out. You get your grip beforehand, and then you slide. Okay, the other one is to go ahead and sit up, open the lapel, and get your grip. When you get this grip, guys, you want to get it in a way that you bring his collar up so that the back of your wrist is on his collarbone and the blade of your forearm is on his neck. Okay, put your chin down, Mr. Mace. No matter how much he puts his chin down, you can see his neck right here. No matter how much he puts his chin down, my forearm still gets there. The next thing, turn. The next thing is, when we go for the next movement, what we're going to do is post our hand. Our weight was over here when we got that first initial grip, by the way, just a heads up. When you get that first grip, you base your weight here, hide your feet under his butt, you're here. We switch our weight with our upper body, but we leave our hips back heavy. So, Mr. Mace, flail around. So we're driving our hips down in the other direction, and our arm. Makes it harder on Mr. Mace. While he's flailing, we reach behind his head and grab a piece of gi. Doesn't have to be his collar, we just grab a piece of gi that's close together. And we bring our body back into the choke. While doing that, this arm that's on his neck is going to pull across. So while we get these grips, we bring our body back into the choke. You can't see, this arm's pulling back across. I'm not like trying to punch to the floor over there. I'm actually pulling my arm here to help with the choke. Okay, the next flow is double knee standing pass to knee ride to far side arm bar. Okay, double knee standing pass first. Double shin grips. Raise your legs up. Okay, so this is his knees, these are his ankles, these are his shins. When you grab the gi, it gives you more control over the ankles and the knees if we get our grips here, okay, on the actual shins. You grab it by his knees, the problem is that he can move his feet around. Move your feet around. Grab by his ankles, the problem is you're not really shutting down his knees, so when I move this way, he still can spread and move, and he's got a lot of mobility. But if you get the grips on the shins, now, go ahead, Mr. Mace, you have a little bit more control over his legs, and it gives you some movement on his hips. Double shin grips. From here, You're going to do just a quick movement with your leg. You're going to kick out the leg, punch his leg through to replace where your inside leg was. So punch, and you're going to replace where his inside leg was by putting your knee on his belly. Now, as soon as you go here during a match, you guys got to think, your opponent is going to put their hand on your knee. So this entire series is a pretty smooth, a little bit quick series, okay? Because as soon as you put your knee on their belly, it's natural for people to want to get it off. So they post, they put their hand. You dive quickly, switch, boom, okay? When you switch, your focus is on bringing their entire back off the mat and you preparing yourself to be able to enter and go for the armbar. Okay, one more time, just so you can see. Watch. Here. Okay, this next flow it's one of the multiple standing passes that we do in the course of your blue belt training, your test for your blue belt test. The X pass, actually a pretty high percentage pass. We have some guys who are world champions here that have used that a lot in tournaments. So, especially if you're lighter, get good at this pass. If you're bigger, you know, there's some really good guard passers out there that are black belts that use this a lot. So if you get light on your feet, this would be pretty good for you if you're a big guy. X pass, okay? He hasn't gotten an established De La Riva or X or any kind of guard here. You know, single leg, half. He's kind of in a position where he's about to get ready to go to a guard or an attack. And you've got their lapel, their far lapel, okay? This is the near, this is the far, and you're keeping their back flat with that. You're grabbing their knee with the other hand, because you're going to use that hand to help pull their knee up, okay? Because if their knee is up, it's weaker. If it's like this, and they have control over their knees, they're stronger. But if you pull their knee up and their knees are close together, they're weaker. From here, guys, I'm going to do a mule kick back to almost to the ceiling to explode my leg out while moving his legs away. From here, I go to knee on belly like I'm going to attack, but he, being a competitive jiu-jitsu artist, understands that if I get to knee on belly, I'm going to have a dominant position. He might be able to roll and then turtle and roll out. So he does that. He rolls, but I ride the wave. Okay. Turn here, Mr. Mace. Turn. No, but. Okay. You want to get ahead of the game? You want to start doing cool stuff that the blue belts who are moving to purple belt are already doing? When you do this back attack, he turns away. The other leg, go ahead, slides in early. And then you throw your second hook when you want to get really good. From here, just go ahead and bring him back. So since you already have his back, dive your grip, get the lapel. Okay? Adjust your grip so you can see. Release the other lapel so you can tighten your grip. And grab the other lapel, pull out the slack while you have control over their back, and get the choke. Okay, the lockdown, Jaws of Life, whip up, old school, electric chair, dogfight. Okay, this is an entry to our 10P half guard series for people who want to push their half guard to the next level. This is an entry level training program to help you get ready for that. So these flows are really important. Plus, everybody needs a half guard, to be honest. So here, your back leg, the way the lockdown works is your outside leg is going to go over the top of theirs. Then your inside leg is going to go over yours and under theirs, okay? From here, you're going to squeeze your knees and stretch their leg, taking their weight off of their foot and them not being able to control their weight and putting it on their knee and on you, okay? So that's the lockdown. One more time. Outside leg over, inside leg over your own, and foot under theirs. Stretch and squeeze, okay? From here, the Jaws of Life, underhooks. Jaws of Life, we're going to get under their face or under their head, preferably under their jaw. And you're going to frame them up. Everybody look. You're going to, Jaws of Life, put your head down. You can go knife hand in like this and get under their jaw. Or if you can get under early and just push their jaw up, that'd be great. Jaws of Life, frame under their armpit, frame under their armpit. Whip up. You're going to whip them up, bring their hips up, while your arms direct them to the side. hips up, arms direct them to the side. They will base on their knee. They will try to stay up because no one good falls over from that. You're going to take the arm that's closest to you, the arm that's closest to the arm that's still attached to them. You're going to roll it underneath and grab their waist. And they're going to whizzer. They're going to hook their arm over the top of that so you can't go to their back. From here, take the hand that's free underneath with your ear to your shoulder. Reach under, grab their pinky toe. Pull their pinky toe. You see, I'm only focusing on his pinky. You got a big foot, so you can see that I'm really down by his pinky toe. See that? Pull his pinky all the way to you. And then, keeping your lockdown, get up on top. The reason we do that is because we do not want our opponent to get out just yet. We're going to pass our guard right after this. Their guard after this. Now, next, the electric chair. We reach for his pinky, and he stretches his leg out perpendicular. You're going to take your arm, hook his leg, stretch your lockdown, and roll onto your back. After stretching your lockdown, rolling on your back, his hips are loaded on you. Superman! Your arm to his far shoulder, and that will help you sweep him over here. And while maintaining your lockdown, you get up, and then from here you would normally pass. The last scenario is we get here, he spreads his knee, he sprawls, I get ready for the electric chair, and he stretches way back. So even if I load his weight, I wouldn't get it. Swim your arm all the way back so that you can use it to help get up. Your legs, this is important, watch the legs. You're going to release your lockdown. You're going to pull your heel, your top heel, to your butt. That keeps his leg in. From here, push up your chest, pull up your hips, and sit back on his leg. Okay? And now, you're in the dog fight. Okay, so what happens in this situation, because this is hip escape from mount to flower sweep, is your opponent is in a position where they're almost finished mounting you, and you are throwing this hip escape like there's no tomorrow, okay? If your opponent's passing your guard, if they have almost mounted you, if you're in a position of serious danger, or if you're just feeling like they're getting in places on you that you don't like necessarily, hip escape. Whether it be little, whether it be directional, or angular, or whether it be a big hip escape, or explosive. Hip escape, get some more space and go back to work, okay? And sometimes when you develop butterfly guard, next guard, and all that other stuff, you can hip escape or hip enter in to use that to attack and load their weight and stuff. But the big thing I want you to get from here is if you feel like you're in danger of being mounted or passed or side control, use these hip escapes. Work on them so that they work and use them because they're powerful tools. Okay, so Mace is on top. He's got one leg up. He's got one leg down, and he's about to mount. From here, I'm going to do a hip escape, a powerhouse hip escape, get to close guard, and I'm going to flower sweep him. Ready, Mace? Okay, drop the knee. Get to close guard, flower sweep. There's a lot of different variations of flower sweep. Your blue belt will show you the ones that they know and they like the best. Okay? Some of the ones that I can tell you, sleeve control, pants control, open the hips, rotate the body, pendulum, kick, push, underneath, sweep to get up on top. Another one of my favorites is the drag the sleeve around the head, grab control here. The other hand goes far underneath, underhooks, open, same thing, kick, push, roll on top. My favorite one is when I drag someone's arm and their elbow all the way across and I hug their back here and their wing. From here I'm going to go on top of their arm, underneath their leg. Use that to rotate just a little. Okay? Kick, push, on top. Okay? Those are 3 variations of the flower sweep that you can use. And that's it. Okay, so my opponent has almost mounted me. This is a very bad position. Okay? When this knee drops and he stabilizes, it's all over. So I need to hip escape powerfully to get out of this. It needs to be good. Between my hips, I need to replace or need to come in line with my head back here. After that, I'm going to get to close guard and immediately get the grips for scissor sweep. He's going to defend. He's going to spread his knees wide. I'm going to switch to push sweep. He's going to post one leg up. From there, a lot of people feel safe. that's when you're going to switch to hooking sweep. That's when you're going to start practicing using your hooks in jiu-jitsu a lot more. So here we go. Mace is going to drop the knee. Go, Mace. Sweep. Close guard. Grip. Grip. When you do your scissor sweep, when you switch to your scissor sweep, pop up on your elbow. Okay? He posts. Okay? If I do scissor right now, it's not working very well. So I switch to a push sweep where I want to push out his knee, but he's going to lift this far leg, so that won't work anymore. Switch and hook. Okay? From here, watch. I'm going to bring his hand towards me even more and bring his weight to me so that now he doesn't have anything to post with. I'm going to keep my foot on this leg so he can't wiggle it around to defend. And then from there, hook, sweep, my opponent over. A lot of people usually hook, sweep, and land in the mouth. If you pull your leg out in the middle, you can land in a modified knee on belly position, knee ride, stuff like that. Hip bump, triangle, omoplata. This is a great explosive series to do, but you have to be able to move your hips. When you're moving your hips, I don't want you to think about like trying to necessarily, like that's like me saying move your wrist. You know, people are like, how do I move my wrist? Like, I don't know. Instead, use the things around your wrist to help move your wrist. So when I say move your wrist, move your hand, use your elbow, use your forearm to help move your wrist. Okay, same thing with the hip bump. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna break our opponent down, and he's gonna posture back up. And when we sit up on our hand, we're gonna put our feet on the mat and use our hand and our legs to project our hips into our opponent. And it's gonna hit him, because I wanna knock him over, okay? That's what a hip bump is. So I hit him, boom. But I wasn't controlling his hand, and so he's gonna put it on the mat. Now watch, this is really cool, guys. The outside leg, the far leg, is the one that goes up first. And it goes right on his back. Because now, look. Hey, you can swing and hang in the air. Then, the leg that was underneath comes out and around, boom, and you lock in a triangle. Okay? Turn a little bit, Mr. Mace. But a lot of people, when they get the hip bump to triangle, everything's not sewn up, and they maybe don't know how to finish the triangle here, which if you haven't bought Mr. Mace's DVD, shameless plug, you need to do that. Okay? You can actually finish the triangle here. So I don't know how. I'm going to pretend. He hides his hand, his far hand, underneath my butt. Okay? So he hides it so that I can't lock in the triangle tight. Here's how you get to the omoplata. One hand is going to go to his head because you're going to use that to push. The other hand, turn me, Mr. Mace. The other hand is going to go to his belt or his pants if he's wearing a gi. Okay? And you're going to pull. You're going to pull yourself to that while you push his head away. Watch. Pull, open, push, and push. And slide up into an omoplata position. Come back. When you slide into your omoplata, you already have your grip. Both heels are on the mat. You control so he can't roll. Cheerleader pose. And then from here, when I do this, there's a very little adjustment that I like to do on people when I have this position. So if I just go straight up here, roll, roll. See, he has some leverage that. See that? Especially he's bigger than me. Come back down now. Okay? So what I like to do is make bigger people and break them up into smaller chunks. So what I'm going to do now is instead of going up so that we can both fight in this rolling thing, I'm going to adjust my hip out. See that? So my hip's right now attached to him. Take my hip out. And now from there, get the tap. Roll, Mr. Mace. It makes him smaller. Okay? So that's hip bump, triangle, omoplata. All right, takedown to side control to Americana, Kimura, and straight arm lock. Okay, basically the Mousetrap series, which is the beginning portions of our Iron Maiden series. Okay. Takedown. She's gonna do a basic single leg takedown. There's a lot of different variations. I like ones where you block the knee. That helps out a lot. So here we go. Hips to the mat. Heavy pressure all the way to side control. From here, his arm's already set for the Americana. I'm just gonna go ahead and take it. Okay, drop the elbow to the mat, dive underneath. No thumbs, slide. Get the tap. Okay? Now I'm going to release the Americana because he's going to try to grab his belt. Go ahead. Dive deep out to the corner so he can't reach his belt. The other hand's going to swim underneath. You're gonna lock it up for a Kimura. Grab your own forearm. Watch on the Kimura. Make sure you switch your hips and you put the inner thigh, your inner thigh, on his face. This prevents him from coming up. And now you get the tap. Watch what happens if I don't do that. You see that? We don't want that. We want this. Okay? And then last thing is straight arm lock. He stretches his arm straight. We move closer, our chest closer to the arm. And we simply do this with our wrists. This flexion pushes the wrist down. This flexion pushes the elbow up. Both of them together is the tap. All right, knee ride escape to sneaky spider sweep. The best thing about this knee ride escape is that if you have it as a natural escape, it works out really well, especially if you do it quick. So it's got to be something natural that just comes out. Bam. Sneaky spider sweep, great loading sweep. Pay attention to the details. I don't want you hurting your knee. I also want you doing the sweep properly, okay? So he's got knee right on me. I'm in trouble. I'm going to grab his belt, and I'm going to punch his hips away while doing a hip escape simultaneously. Ooh. Now from here, hip, hip, hip away. Keeping him straight out. This is a stiff arm. Get back to guard. He comes in, I go right to spider guard. Okay? How you get to your sneaky spider sweep from here, there's a lot of different variations, okay? The way that I usually use the spider guard is if I want to start doing lassos, I'll control both sleeves, take the hips away, lasso my leg all the way in, and look at what I'm doing. I'm taking my foot and putting it on the top of his back. From here, I'm going to adjust my hips, which is going to make my leg stronger on him. Which again, here, there, okay? While keeping this grip on the inner thigh. Now I just drop this foot next to his hip. Mr. Mace, go ahead and work. Most people think that they can pass from there. Look at my hand. Is it on the outside of his leg? No. It's in the middle of his legs. Because I'm going to grab the inside of this leg. Now, here, I'm going to use the sneaky spider lasso. So this leg right here, to pull him on the middle leg. And this is going to help control. Dump up to knee ride. Knee ride to Pedro to Kimura. Okay. You start off in a good knee ride. Usually you don't want your shin across your stomach if you want to explode to the other side. It starts taking off time. So you want your knee on their belly on this one. Okay? He is going to, this time, he's not necessarily going to put his hand on there, but he can, and you can still do the Pedro from there, but he's more just trying to turn into you. Okay, so he's trying to turn and do this. From here, open up the elbow if you have to, open up the elbow a little bit, and you're going to dive the opposite hand through and drop your chest on that arm. Okay? What has happened is there was space between his arm and his body. I put my hand there and closed that space, so now this arm can't move very easily. Block his wrist, grab his wrist, lock it up, close your door, and now he's going to grab his gi, just so we can get good work. Everything tight. Get the tap. Okay, next flow that we're going to be doing is the hip escape from side control and the De La Riva reap sweep. One of the things, probably the biggest thing out of this is do a good hip escape. Your guy's going to stand up, your partner's going to stand up, and after doing the De La Riva guard and reap sweep, focus on adjusting so that you land and get up into a good passing or attacking position. Although during the test, whoever's watching it, which will probably be myself, I'm not going to freak out if you don't. The reality is, again, the reason we're doing this is so that it works when we need it. So obviously you want to practice it that way. All right, so put feet in side control. Okay, I'm going to do a good hip escape to get back to an open position. He gets up, bam, De La Riva guard. Okay, when you go to the De La Riva guard, check out the mechanics of this. We're going to grab his bottom heel or grab the bottom gi. I would not recommend grabbing his calf because that's not as much control, so grab the bottom heel. The same leg is going to hook around inside and toe. Your toe is going to be reaching for his thigh here, okay? Now, after doing that, we're going to grab his sleeve with the far hand. We're going to push his leg away. All these things working together. See that? Now, what makes this really work is Mr. Mace is going to decide anyway that he thinks that he can come in. So he's going to lift my foot up, and he's going to come forward. I'm going to keep my foot on his hip, I'm going to keep his heel. I got to make this adjustment quick. Switch my leg. Bam. This is going to be a fast adjustment. So we're here. Bring your leg to knee, your knee to your chest. Shoot your leg between the hole and hook his leg. And then from there, reap sweep. You get right up into a passing position. Okay? So you get up so that you're basically not, I don't know, you're not like this. Okay, that would be bad. Okay, so hip escape to Del Evo reap sweep. Okay, this next flow is hip escape from side control to Del Evo guard, and then we're going to do a hook sweep from there. Side control, hip escape. Basically, we want to see a good hip escape. You've by this point in the DVD, I hope that you understand that you need to go ahead and frame. You're not going to use your hands to push him up off of you. You're going to use your frame and your legs and hips. And then you can use your hands to maybe keep a little bit of space while you hip escape. You escape your hips away, get back to an open guard position. He comes up, bam, go right to your De La Riva guard, okay? So here's our De La Riva guard. We get our grip on the heel. We get our lasso hook on his leg, okay? We've got our other foot on his other leg, and we are ready to rock and roll. We've got his sleeve, okay? What Mace does here instead, last time on the reap sweep, he pulled the heel up, pulled the foot up. This time he's gonna push the foot down and step in. Switch your opposite foot to his hip. So can you see that this foot went from being hooked here to going to his hip? And that foot that he pushed down, went right into a hooking position. From here, you are going to explode him back while pulling in this hook and keeping his heel in place. You get right up, okay? From here, you need to obviously get up into a passing position. For me, my pass from this position will probably be something like this. I'm just kidding. Seriously, get up into a passing position. Triple step pass to knee ride to Kimura. Okay, this is our next flow. First, let's work on the footwork of the triple step pass. The way the triple step pass works is, usually, once you get this coming out naturally, it's not going to be something where you plan to do the triple step pass. It's more like it's a natural progression from your opponent having good hips and you needing to get past them with double shin grips. Here's the footwork for the triple step pass. We're going to the inside leg, whichever side you're stepping to, the inside leg is going to step first, 1. The second leg will step together, 2. And then your inside leg will go out, 3. That's our triple step. Then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Take the leg that you left behind and swing it around. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, with your double shin grips, this is what it looks like. We move to one side to try to just do a basic double knee standing pass. We move. 1, he turns his hips to us. 2, we realize what's happening. 3, we step out, and now this leg comes up and around. 1, triple step pass. We're now past his guard. So after we get to the knee, he's going to go ahead and post his hand. We're going to dive our hand through the hole just like we would if it was for a knee ride far side arm bar. Brings back off the mat, post the hand, drop our knee, and instead of going all the way around, maybe we feel more comfortable with Kimuras. Watch this switch. Both knees go down, dive, switch, and then take this hand out. He grabs his gi, we grab, lock in our Kimura, close everything tight. We do a big circle where our head goes around with our body, and then get the tap. The next technique we're going to be doing is the armbar escape. Now this flow, this is pretty simple, but there's some dynamics here that I want you to understand. This works really well against just a fundamental basic armbar that most people do, which is they hug your arm, their ankles are not crossed, they're not controlling the outside shoulder, they're not really manipulating your wrist, they're just holding basically your arm, okay? And it's still a good armbar, don't get me wrong, but you have the opportunity to do this escape in that situation. Before I have him go into position, let me show you what it's going to look like. He's going to have my arm in an armbar position, and I'm going to be defending. Then he's going to get the extension. Upon him getting the extension, I'll take my other arm and I'm going to dive it underneath my back. And that second arm is going to point the direction that I need to go so that I can get out of this arm bar. Another way to think about this, now with my partner coming in, you got the arm bar. Now with him is, I'm going to go thumbs outside, away from both of us. So if I go this way, my thumb's pointing at me. If I go this way, it's pointing at him. But if I go this way, it's pointing away from both of us. So I'm defending, I'm defending, I'm defending. He takes the arm away, thumb away from both of us, roll. And immediately, hiding your head and shoulder to the back side, because we don't want to get caught in a triangle. Drive your weight into your opponent and pass their guard. Sleeve sweep to triangle from mount. What's really cool about this is it's not like you're gonna naturally like try to impose this on an opponent, but if they make a mistake in diving through while you're doing the sleeve sweep, it gives you a great opportunity to just catch a triangle from the mount. Now, sleeve sweep, how this works is you use double grips or snake grip or however you want it to drag their arm across. And it's almost like you want to start attacking their back. They realize something's wrong, they force themselves back up, and you follow them, punching their arm away from them. Okay, if your hand is on the mat and you're punching their arm away from them, and you help with leverage of putting your feet on the mat, okay, Mace, try to bring your hand back to me. It is difficult. If your forearm is on the mat, Mace, bring your hand back to me. It starts to get easier. If your back's on the mat, it's just not going to work. So hand out, and now hips up, drag his hand to your hip. You go for the mount. What happens is this guy starts to do something really crazy. Maybe he gets that hand stuck underneath. Okay? You drop your knee to the mat, and you bring this arm across and this leg in tight. Watch very closely. This is an easy control here, okay? You can even do it without the arm being inside, but I like to have the arm across if you could. So if you can catch this way, great. If you can't, you catch it like this, okay? From here, bring his head up, and the reason that you use this arm is because you're going to do the crowbar to the back of his head. Rock, pinch your knee into their neck while lassoing your leg around, and your hamstring goes into their neck. From here, lock your triangle using your crowbar, close, and then get your 10. Okay, headlock escape to back choke. Headlocks are not common in jiu-jitsu, but they are common in just self-defense scenarios in general. And so that's why we need to work on this. You do know how to defend yourself. There's actually, in the flows that you're going to be learning, there's 2 headlock escapes that you're going to be going through during the course of your training as far as getting ready for your blue belt test. So this is one of them. He puts me in a headlock, and he's sitting right in front of me. So it's almost like he jumped over my back and put me in a headlock like a big brother. And so with that occurring, I need to go ahead and get out of this thing. So we land on the floor. I'm going to bring my elbow as tight as I can to me so that he can't get control. The other arm's going to reach around and grab his waist while I'm controlling his wrist. From here, I'm going to switch my hips and post my leg and drive his face to the floor with a heavy shoulder while using my legs and hips to add more pressure with the shoulder. I keep driving until I've flattened his back. Now, he's not a super skilled opponent, okay? Because super skilled people don't do headlocks to people. So, most likely, he's probably going to try to get out of this thing by pushing up. When you push up, be ready to dive. Back choke. Okay, this next flow is armbar to triangle to arm lock from closed guard. This is a great series to know from closed guard because all 3 of these submissions can be caught independently, and they also work really well together as a series. Okay, and just happens to be one of your flows. So let's go over it. Closed guard. This is my closed guard. First off, there's a lot of variations as to how you can do your arm bars, and your blue belt can go over that from wrist control peel to you're doing this gripping strategy on the arm to my favorite. I like to do deep tricep grip, shoulder control. So deep tricep shoulder control is the one I'm going to do. I'm going to put my foot on his hip. My hips are going to come up. This also helps keep his elbow by my belly button. So when I grab the deep tricep grip, that keeps his arm from coming back across. When I pull my elbow down, that makes it tighter. Okay. Now, when I grab his other shoulder, that keeps him from going away from me, so go away, come close, and it helps me control the space close. It helps keep him in the perfect armbar range. From here, I put my foot on his hip, and I pinch my knee tight. Hips go up to help keep the arm in the game. From this, the next movement is hips go around, my other leg knocks him off balance and goes deep into his armpit with a big kazushi. Now he's really in trouble. I push his head out of the way. My leg that's on his hip goes around and pushes his head down. Keeps him off balance. I squeeze my knees and get the tap. What happened? Now, for the next step, for the triangle, I'm going to control his forearm. Perhaps he comes back into me for some reason, and he's starting to pull this arm out, the one that I'm trying to armbar. So I keep it as long as I can, and then circle, hip up, switch sides to get the triangle. So watch again. I'm over here. I'm going to do a hip up to switch sides. Watch. That's going to help me catch a tight triangle. If I do the hip up switch, it helps to make it tighter. From here, you lock in your triangle. If you've been to Mr. Mace's triangle seminar, and if you haven't, you need to buy the DVD. Wink, wink. Okay? If you know that you can just go ahead and finish the triangle from here. You don't have to pull the triangle, the arm across. Okay? Lock it in. Get the tap. Now, let's pretend for some reason we can't finish the triangle, and you do have the arm across. He's starting to stand up on you. He's starting to get out. Oh no, this is bad. Underhook the leg. Take the leg that was across for the triangle. Take it around his head. Move his head. Keep the arm. Get the tap. Okay, the next flow is inside knee slice pass to shoulder lock with your leg from side control. And the shoulder lock from the leg, not a high percentage submission, but it's good for you to know. It's great for opening up other things, and you can catch it once and every now and then. As far as the inside knee slice pass, though, vital. You need it for your jiu-jitsu. You need it to teach you how to learn pressure. You need it to just be able to pass some tough guards. It sets up a lot of things later on, and it's great for now. And so let's go over it. Inside knee slice pass. You start out in the middle of his guard. He starts to sit up. Okay, you start, and you realize that you have a chance to cut your shin across and open up his guard even more, open up your passing options. So he starts to sit up, you dive for an underhook, you drop your knee to the mat, you bring your leg out, he closes, he realizes he's in trouble. You can get to this position a lot of different ways. We're just doing it this way today. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab his gi behind his head to help give me some leverage on his back. I'm going to drop my head to the mat. Right now, Mr. Mace is on his side. He's not on his back. Okay, stay on your side. If he's on his side, in this position, I don't like it. He's stronger. His body's like this. I want him like this. Okay? So I'm going to flatten his back and make his shoulders go that way while his legs and hips are trying to keep my leg and they're facing this way. Here's how we do it. Grab the gi, head to the mat, grab his arm and put it under your armpit and pull it up. Now from here, don't try to get your leg out just yet. From here, go ahead and stay on your side. What I want you to do is use your head and your leg to stretch him out and flatten his back and be heavy here. Your head should be on the mat. You should be pulling up this arm. This makes him weaker. So close the legs tight. Okay? This makes his legs weaker. It's harder for him to hold me in. Now, take your knee out and bring your hip towards the mat. You're going to finish here cutting your hip all the way through. This is a lot of pressure. Okay? From this position, your leg's already in position. Maybe his hand starts wiggling. Maybe something happens. Don't know. But you clear the arm, block, hook your leg all the way across. Take the arm back, take the arm back, take the arm back, get the tap. I don't really do a hip up with it, but I like taking the arm back first. It gives you more leverage. It's just like an Americana. I treat it just like an Americana. Outside knee slice pass to mount to arm triangle. This series is a really good series. The outside slice pass is just unbelievable. It's phenomenal. It's part of a phenomenal passing series that we do from that outside knee slice position. So let's get right into it, and you want to get good at it. Okay? Outside knee slice pass. What makes this an outside slice is when we do the inside pass, we're cutting to the inside of their body and we're leaving the rest of them behind. The outside pass, actually what's happening is we're starting from a position where normally we would pass to the opposite side of his body, where the single leg pass. Okay, so we start here. Legs posted, we got our grip, whatever. All this stuff's going on, right? He starts to push me back. He starts to use his hands. Everything starts helping take me away from this pass. So what I'm going to do is say, well, since he's pushing me away from this pass, and I'm already halfway past his guard on this side, why don't I just go ahead and finish this way? Take the arm, you're going to swim it all the way across while taking your leg that's posted all the way back here up to the front. And you land on him and the floor. Take your leg out, hand dive, and get ready to go to the mount. From here, you do the mount that you're working on. I'm going to do this one where I bring the knee to the hip, drag both legs to the side powerfully, stomp, and then crush. Mr. Mace wants to stop the mount. He starts pushing up on me. What makes the arm triangle work really well is a deep hook with your arm around his neck and pop and block. So he pushes, I drive the arm, and I pop and block simultaneously. Now everything's really tight, okay? You don't want to have to over squeeze, you just want the arm tight around the neck. Okay, from here, it's up to you if you lock it in now and then switch your legs. I like to have that extra base, and I reach as far as I can to his armpit and keep this tight. And then from here I rock forward, roll my foot to his hip, and that helps keep his hips, get his hips out of the game. And now from here, I lock up my arm triangle. Driving the knee to the hip, sprawling heavy, chest down, inhale to get the tap. Okay, single leg takedown defense. Double underhooks on the shoulders are key. Squaring your hips up with your opponent are key. And driving your hips to the mat. Those are the keys to making this work, okay? Double underhooks, stopping their shoulders. It stops them from continuing to come at you, okay? Squaring your hips up makes their arms stretch out even more, makes it harder for them to hold you. And then your hips to the mat crushes them down to the floor. You can even begin attacking from there, okay? So start. Mr. Mace has got the angle. He's got a leg. So what I need is hand under, hand under. This makes his ability to control my leg weaker. I see people sometimes do this, and this doesn't really stop Mr. Mace from coming after my leg. I need to get my leg free, so I'm going to go after getting my leg free this time. 1, 2. From here, I'm going to drive my hips down while taking my knee and turning my foot. Already the hips are starting to go down. Driving the underhooks, driving the knee. This is called a sprawl. Hips heavy. That is the single leg takedown defense. Okay, shoulder pass to side control to hand dive. Shoulder pass is one of our more aggressive double shin grip passes. It's a good one though. You should definitely keep it in your arsenal. You need to make sure you're doing it correctly. The side control, there's a million different ways to do side control, but what's really cool about this one is you really focus on the hand dive, which is, it's something that we pay a lot of attention to here. It's one of the first stabilizing positions for side control that we really want people to get. It stops the person's hips from being able to go away. It stops you from being able to it stops them from being able to get their hips away. It stops their head from moving as much. Okay? So you can hand dive to the hips, hand dive to the head. Here we go. Double shin grips. Boom. Again, we control the shins. Okay? I'm realizing what's happening here. I'm trying to get past his guard, but he's keeping his legs in the game, and I'm not happy with this. Okay? Partner gonna go ahead and fold his arms across his chest so that he can take my weight. I am going to push his legs over and drop my shoulder in whatever little space I have when I get here. So I get over, push his legs, and look at my body. I'm not dropping my weight on the floor. I don't want my legs resting on the floor. That's not weight on him. I want my weight on him. Now, finish moving his legs, dive under his head and dive under his hips. Let me show you what the hips look like. Over here. If it's no gi, you can just put your arm as deep as you can and have it on the mat. But if it's gi, grab his gi Okay, grab his gi and use that to help. And now when he tries to like hip escape, go ahead and try to hip escape. You're holding the middle of his hips. It's really hard for him to get away. And if he tries to turn to you, go ahead and turn to me. This is blocking that leg. Versus if you just put your hand on the mat, hip escape. Now you have to like reestablish every time. And if he turns to you, he might eventually get his guard back. So getting that grip will help. In no-gi, diving your hand as deep as possible will help. And then no-gi's quick with the transition, so you just have to be ready to make your next move. Pillow escape to butterfly sweep to side control to wrist lock. The pillow is a great way to get out of side control as long as you know to pillow and make sure that you don't give up a choke, okay? And you watch out for triangles and crazy attacks from there. That's good stuff. The butterfly sweep, it starts teaching you how to use your hooks better, which is very important. And then side control to wrist lock. The wrist lock is actually a great submission. It starts to introduce you to the fact that we are allowed to submit the wrists in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they are they're pretty open game. I mean, a lot of people don't use it very often, so pay attention to it. Be careful though, because wrist locks, just like leg locks, go from 0 to pain like that. It's like a Ferrari. It's like 0 to 80 in a Ferrari. It's like, bam, you're there. And 0 to 100 in a Ferrari is not that much further off, and that's injury in wrist locks or leg locks. So you need to be conscious of that. Okay. All right. He's in side control. And instead of him having a regular hand dive, he's across my body with one arm. And I managed to get under his armpit. Normally in side control what happens is people might get stuck here, okay? But I managed to get under his armpit. From here, guys, I'm going to pillow, which means I'm going to keep my ear to my bottom shoulder, and I'm going to Superman my other arm while doing a hip up. This gives me space to work, okay? Using the pillow. Go ahead and keep coming to me, guys. Using the pillow, I'm going to get back to a guard. From here, he's already pretty much ready for a butterfly sweep. I just need this other hook in. I'm going to take my far leg, I'm going to hook inside his leg. Move this leg back so you can see. So I'm hooking his leg. And it's not resting. This foot is actively hooking. It's not here. Hooking. Okay, good. I've got his belt with my far hand. Far leg hook, far hand belt control. Control his other arm. Whether it be wrist, punch into his groin, or whether it be just controlling the elbow, making sure his hand can't go to the mat. From here, the other leg is going to go through as far as it can, so I can use it to help push off the floor and sweep base. Okay, come back a little bit here. Now that he's swept, and we're here, he makes a mistake. He puts his hand on my chest to try to push me off in side control. I realize it's a mistake. I go under his elbow to control his hand, make sure that hand doesn't move. I block his elbow with both hands. Okay, and now from here, my goal is to take these knuckles and touch them to his forearm. So watch. Okay, if I just go straight into his hand, no good. I need to focus on these knuckles. Knuckles to the forearm. That's what does it. Okay? Open guard, arm drag to back control, cradle choke. The cradle choke is an awesome collar choke from the back that it takes a little know-how to do, but I mean, I'll tell you what, man, it's good jiu-jitsu. And the open guard arm drag, just learning arm drags, it's great for your jiu-jitsu in general because it gets you from in front of them to the side or even behind them in the blink of an eye, okay? Here we go, open guard arm drag. Wrist control, same side wrist control, the other hand punches all the way underneath the armpit. You're gonna move his hand out of the way so it doesn't hit you when you pull him in, okay? Exposes his back. From here, you can grab his back and hip escape and get to it, or you can grab his back and jump on. The jump on is against to better people, it doesn't work as well. So I'm gonna show you the hip escape too, just so that you know it. So from here, post your hand, get your hook, hip escape, he drops down. You get your hooks in. First collar grip goes in, boom. But this guy's smarter than the average bear. He starts defending with both hands. I grab his knee. I make my adjustment to go for the bow and arrow choke. But this guy will not let me take this arm out of the game. Let me see your arm for the bow and arrow. That's the bow and arrow. He's fighting my grip with both hands. It's making it very hard for me to choke him. So I'm gonna do what anybody would do in this situation. I mean, it's just natural. Cross one leg over the arm, cross the other one on, bite down, and pull. Tap. All right, sneaky spider sweep to knee ride to baseball choke. The baseball choke is a big part of our jiu-jitsu game as far as white belts are concerned. And as you get higher up, you can start to see that a lot of people elsewhere don't really use it as much as we do. It's a phenomenal submission that can put someone to sleep without them knowing it. So please pay attention and make sure that they're safe. Okay, sneaky spider sweep, here we go. Okay, on the sneaky spider sweep, we start out just like we would in a normal spider guard. Okay, foot on the hip, we get our lasso, back, bam, okay? Our other foot is gonna go across his waist because we're baiting him to come around this side because there's not any defenses. Okay, so he comes around, we grab his ankle, look, grabbing the gi on the inside. Use the sneaky spider lasso to load him on top of the other leg, dump him off, get up to knee ride. Immediately, look at the hand. If you notice, my hand went from his sleeve to his lapel, right behind it. The second hand dives right in deep, okay? Just a quick grip. Now, baseball choke, check this out. You're grabbing his gi like it's a baseball bat. So one hand's out, one hand's in, the collar is your bat. From here, he starts to realize that he needs to defend. He starts trying to grab my arms and stuff. Take your knee that was on his belly and cut it through. And take that arm out of the game. Turn to north-south and get the tap. Okay, baseball bat choke as a defense for the half guard pass. So half guard pass defense, baseball choke. This is a great defense. We've had our competitors put way too many people to sleep and our students in class. So please be cognizant of your partner choking on this choke. It's very surprising and it puts people to sleep quickly. Okay? So he's gonna pass my guard and I know that I'm in trouble. Come on in. I know I'm in trouble here. Okay? He's in a dominant position and I really don't feel like I can stop his pass. So instead of trying to stop it here and defend all this other stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and get my baseball choke grip now. So we get one hand in his lapel. We're continuing the fight. Go ahead and continue the fight. And he starts cutting through. I get my second grip. And watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my entire body. And when he passes, I'm going to turn away using this baseball grip because I'm grabbing his collar like it's a baseball bat to choke him. Go ahead, pass. Okay. Let's turn so everybody can see what it looks like. So here are your grips. Whichever side they're passing to, you want to be turning away from that side. You never want to turn towards it. So he's passing, turn away. And you keep running through that choke in that direction to get the tap. All right, the Jean-Jacques pass to forearm choke or side control. The JJ pass to forearm choke or poke choke. This is a really good series, especially the JJ pass. The JJ pass can be a pass that you go to initially, or it can definitely be a backup pass when you're already passing one side and maybe their legs are coming into the game. I find this pass comes up a lot, not as a first choice, but more as a secondary or tertiary choice on one side. Okay, so JJ pass. What happens is you're maybe passing to this side and you get to this position and he starts bringing this leg into the game. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand, go to the back side of his top leg and to the front side of his bottom leg, and you're going to grab his gi. Once you do that, put your chest on his legs. You want to give him weight because you don't want him running from you anymore. The other hand is going to grab his tricep or his sleeve. I like tricep, and I'm going to pull his hand under my armpit. This is, again, that rotating and twisting thing that I talk about when you pass people's guard. So I'm keeping his hips pinned to the side here. I'm going to flatten his back by walking my chest around and crushing his back to the mat that way. So his back's going to be flat, but his hips are going to be facing this way. He's going to be very weak, not as strong. Okay, watch. Hips low, not resting on the floor, just using the arm to help control. And I bring my knee in to now protect the space that I created with this arm. I remove the hand and the knee is in there to protect that space. From here we're in side control. Okay? I like to get a grip here. Take the hand, the thumb inside grip, fist all the way to the floor. Now, even if they try to put their chin down, even if they try to put their chin down, take your elbow to the middle of their neck and use your weight to work into their neck. Now you're in a position to put your elbow on the mat, get the tap.